Have you ever noticed how some things in nature have a simple, grounding strength? Look at garlic. For some, it's just something you cook with. For others, through deep observation, they saw it as a source of well-being, one of the oldest we know. What's interesting to me isn't just what it does for the body, but what it represents to our mind. Think about it. Through time, people have always valued things from the earth that nourish us in more than one way. Garlic sits right there. Yes, it helps the body, but it also became a picture of something that protects our inner quiet. How so? The reason is quite simple. Garlic represents clarity, a certain kind of uncompromising presence. You see, if you take a piece of garlic and crush it, its strong scent fills the room. It's immediate and clear, and it doesn't get pushed aside by other, fainter smells. In the same way, when you make it a part of your daily life, it reminds you to build a steady quiet inside, a resilience against the things that try to unsettle your peace. This simple act became a teaching for us. Ancient wisdom suggests that confusion cannot exist alongside focus, and distraction struggles where there is presence. Garlic came to symbolize this refusal to be scattered. Its direct and honest nature was seen as a way to turn away unsettling thoughts, dissolve lingering anxieties, and clear the air of ill will. But let's bring this into our own experience. You know, these old ideas only have power if we can feel them in our lives. Taking garlic daily isn't really about an old story. It's a conscious choice to strengthen your inner calm against negativity. When you make it a part of your routine, it's like a small daily practice of steadiness. It's a quiet declaration that your inner space won't be easily disturbed, that you won't allow those subtle discomforts, whether physical unease, difficult emotions, or the unsettling feelings from others, to gather inside you. Garlic simply becomes a mirror. It reflects an attitude of clarity and stability that keeps the inner noise down. If you are open to this journey of inner clarity, I invite you to join our community. Subscribe, and let's explore these simple truths together. Think about how many of our challenges come not from big, loud events, but from unseen influences. You know, a thoughtless word from someone that stays in your mind, a tense environment that slowly makes you feel tired, or a pattern of thinking that holds you back. These aren't old tales of magic, but they affect us just like one. They find their way in quietly, they create confusion, and they can make us feel smaller than we are. When we eat garlic each day, it becomes a physical reminder of a simple commitment. It says, I will not hold on to what disturbs my peace. I will return to clarity. I will cultivate steadiness. On a deeper level, it also teaches us about being okay with directness for the sake of truth. Many people don't like its strong taste or the way its scent lingers. But in that very directness, there's a lesson. You see, strength isn't always soft. Calm isn't always passive. Sometimes the thing that helps us stay centered is straightforward, clear, and steady. To bring garlic into your life is to accept that kind of honesty, to welcome a force that doesn't bend to confusion. The sharpness becomes a lesson in being present. If you are willing to accept this little bit of directness, you gain a much greater sense of inner stability. This is why it wasn't just seen as food, but as a reminder. It was kept in homes to represent a clean space, carried as a small token of stability, and eaten to keep one's own inner world feeling strong and clear. Whether you see these unsettling influences as stories or as feelings of anxiety and negativity, the message from observing garlic is the same. It helps you build a quiet wall of resilience around you. Its nature isn't passive, it's active, clear, and asks that whatever comes into your space does so with simplicity and honesty. So, eating garlic daily isn't about superstition. It's a philosophy of tending to your inner garden, a way to use your body and mind to gently turn away what doesn't belong. To eat garlic is to tell the world, I will not be filled with noise. I will carry a quiet clarity within me that no distraction can disturb. And here's a simple truth to consider. Great strength often doesn't come in grand forms. Sometimes it is found in the simplest of things. A small, humble clove of garlic can hold the essence of pushing away everything that seeks to make you feel scattered. The question is, will you just see it as food, or will you embrace it as a daily practice for inner quiet? The choice, as always, is yours. The onion is often something we don't think much about. It's in almost every kitchen, so common we barely notice it. And yet, its quiet power was seen by ancient cultures all over the world. Much like garlic, the onion was seen as more than just food. For a long time, it has been used not only to nourish, but as a tool for cleansing a space, for drawing out unseen tensions, and as a quiet barrier against what people felt as ill will. When we look at its layers, both the ones we can touch and the ones it represents, the onion shows us something about life, about resilience, and about how we can handle hidden unease. One of the first things you notice about an onion is its layers. One after another, you cut it open, and there's another layer of skin, and then another, each one covering the very center. Think about it, this is a beautiful picture of our own lives. Each of us has layers of behavior, our words, our protected feelings, and far beneath all that, the quiet truth of who we are. Just as the onion protects its center, we also need to protect our inner self, because life is always presenting us with influences. Some help us grow, while others try to seep in and cause confusion. Throughout history, people would place onions in their homes. It was thought to draw out sickness and absorb heavy feelings. This may seem like an old story, but at its heart is a simple psychological truth. The onion represents the idea of drawing things out. It teaches us that one way to deal with something difficult is not always to fight it head on, but to let it be drawn to the surface, seen for what it is, and then let go. That's why it was seen as a way to undo lingering troubles, because it gently interrupts the cycle by pulling the unsettling feeling away from us. When eaten daily, the onion can serve two purposes. For the body, it brings strength and helps purify our systems. On an inner level, it becomes a statement. I am willing to see what is hidden. You know, when we cut an onion, it often makes us tear up. This is not a mistake, it holds a beautiful meaning. The onion encourages a release. It doesn't let us stay numb. And this is exactly what happens when we finally face the hidden troubles in our own lives, the unhealthy habits, the hurtful words we've held on to, the quiet resentments. There is a release. We let go, we cleanse. In this way, the onion teaches us that finding clarity isn't always a simple, comfortable process. Sometimes it stings a little, but in that release, we find a new kind of freedom. If we think about these curses in our modern lives, they are often just those quiet thoughts telling us we're not good enough, the old patterns that pull us back, the invisible pressures that tire our spirit. We can't see them, but their weight is very real. Eating an onion each day can be more than just a choice of food. It becomes a small ritual, a reminder that you are actively cleansing yourself, layer by layer, from the hold of these things. You are refusing to let them settle in your inner home. You are inviting them to the surface, even if it's a bit uncomfortable, because you value the peace that comes after. There's also a lesson in humility in the onion. It's not a bright, colorful fruit. It grows silently underground, hidden away. Its strength is not in how it looks, but in what it is. In the same way, true inner protection often happens in silence. It isn't about telling everyone how strong you are, but about quietly building a steadiness so deep that nothing from the outside can disturb your inner calm. The onion reminds us that the most ordinary things can carry the most profound strength. So, when you eat an onion, you are not just nourishing your body. You are symbolically telling yourself, I am letting go of old layers. I am releasing hidden tensions. I am protecting the quiet core of who I am. And in doing this, you align yourself with a simple principle that makes inner turmoil fade away, not because of superstition, but because you are no longer a place for confusion to rest. The truth is simple. Every layer you gently peel away brings you closer to what is real. And what is real is always stronger than what is false. The question is, will you continue to carry the weight of what is hidden, or will you allow yourself to release, to cleanse, and to step forward with a lighter heart, the choice, once again, is entirely yours. Honey is unlike anything else. It is not made by machines. It is not put together artificially. It is the direct result of nature working together in the most gentle way. You see, the bee collects nectar from thousands of flowers, transforms it, and stores it in a way that is so pure it can last for hundreds of years. When you hold honey, you are holding the light of the sun, transformed through a community of living things into something that both nourishes and soothes. That in itself is quite remarkable. But for a very long time, honey was known for more than just its taste. It was seen as a carrier of warmth, a kind of sweet comfort that shields the heart from bitterness and heavy feelings. Think about what bitterness does to us. When someone directs harshness toward you through their words or intentions, they are planting a seed of bitterness in your life. They want you to feel heavy, resentful, and uneasy from the inside. Honey, just by its nature, is the opposite of this. It dissolves that hardness, softens the heart, and brings a gentle sweetness to places where life feels sharp. That's why many ancient teachings saw honey as sacred, a gift. It was used in moments of quiet reflection, not just as an offering, but as a way of sealing in a sense of peace. To have a little honey each day is to remind yourself that warmth is stronger than coldness, that light is stronger than shadow. The idea here is quite profound. When you bring honey into your body, you are not just getting nutrients. You are symbolically teaching yourself to respond to harshness with gentleness instead of more hardness. You are encouraging your whole being to hold on to sweetness, to carry an inner warmth, even when things around you feel cold. And what happens when you embody that warmth? Heavy feelings find it hard to stay. Those who carry bitterness or ill will have a hard time standing near someone who radiates a genuine, simple light. Honey becomes more than food. It becomes a gentle shield. But there's another quality to honey patience. You know, honey doesn't just appear in a day. It takes a long time, countless small efforts by many bees working together. Each one brings back a tiny drop until the whole hive is full. In the same way, a sweet nature, an inner light, and resilience to life's harshness are not built overnight. They come from consistent practice, from small daily choices. Eating a little honey daily is a beautiful reminder of this. We can protect our inner peace not with big, sudden efforts, but with the steady, patient gathering of light inside. Every spoonful is a small step, a step towards making your inner world a place where darkness doesn't feel welcome. There is also humility in honey. It does not announce itself loudly. It just is one of nature's quiet wonders. This humility is itself a kind of protection. You see, difficult feelings often look for pride or insecurity in us because those are easy places to take root. But humility, combined with a quiet inner warmth, creates a feeling of peace that is very difficult to disturb. When you cultivate this, not just by eating honey, but by embodying what it represents, you move through life in a way that leaves no room for harshness to latch onto. So honey is not just sweetness on the tongue. It's about finding a sweetness in your soul. It reminds us that protecting our peace is not always about fighting back. Sometimes the most powerful shield is simply to radiate such goodness, such clarity, and such warmth that negativity has no place to enter. To eat honey is to affirm that you choose sweetness over bitterness, patience over hurry, and humility over pride. In doing this, you place yourself beyond the reach of the forces that grow from anger and envy. The reflection is simple: light always dissolves shadow, just as sweetness always softens what is hard. The question is, will you allow yourself to carry that light daily? Or will you let the chill of negativity take root? Honey teaches us that even the smallest amount of sweetness, taken consistently, can transform everything. The choice, as always, is yours. Dates are sometimes called the fruit of the desert, but what they represent goes much deeper than just surviving in a difficult place. For thousands of years, they've been seen as food for the body and for the spirit. In many traditions, dates are connected to vitality, to a sense of well-being and renewal. They aren't just a source of energy, They are a symbol of inner strength. To understand why this simple fruit has been seen as something that restores our resilience, we need to look past its sweetness. We need to consider what it shows us about our own journey. The first thing you notice about dates is where they come from. The date palm grows in places where most other plants would not survive. It stands under a relentless sun in dry soil. And yet, the tree grows tall and provides fruit that is incredibly nourishing and full of life. This is the first lesson we can learn from date's resilience. True strength isn't about being shielded from difficulty. It's about drawing strength even from the most challenging conditions. When you eat dates daily, you bring that symbolism into yourself. You are gently reminding your body and your spirit that you too can find nourishment even when your environment feels harsh, that you can carry vitality even when life seems to be draining it from you. This is what makes dates such a powerful image for overcoming feelings of weakness. That feeling, whether you see it as a curse or just the psychological weight of negativity, works by making you feel tired. It drains your motivation and leaves you feeling empty. The nature of the date is the complete opposite. It fills, it renews, it strengthens your inner wellspring. To eat dates is to reclaim the very thing that difficulty tries to take your life force. You're not just feeding your body, you are nourishing your spirit with the quiet reminder that you are not meant to be weak. You are meant to be strong. In our minds, dates speak to a simple principle: replenishment. So often, we try to face our challenges when we are already tired. We try to resist negative thoughts while running on empty. We hope to get through obstacles while ignoring how exhausted we feel inside. This makes us vulnerable. The date palm teaches a different kind of wisdom. It says, before you face the world, nourish yourself. Before you try to stand firm against forces that want to push you down, feed your spirit with strength. A traveler in the desert who carried dates understood this well. You don't walk into the endless sand without something to sustain you. In the same way, we can't walk into the challenging parts of our daily life, stress, conflict, negativity, without carrying something inside that sustains us. Dates become a reminder to be prepared in this way. There is also a quiet, sacred feeling around dates. In many traditions, they are eaten during times of reflection or important life transitions. Why is that? Because they connect the physical with the spiritual. They nourish the body, of course, but they also remind the mind of its deeper purpose. Eating a date becomes more than just satisfying hunger. It becomes a small act of reconnecting with what is most important. This is why they are so closely tied to overcoming a sense of being weakened. Negative states thrive on distraction, on pulling you away from your center. A date gently draws you back. Think about how a date palm grows. It rises straight up towards the sky. Its fruits are gathered at the top, close to the sun. There's a message in that about aspiration, about directing our lives upward. It reminds us that strength comes not from collapsing, but from reaching for something higher. When you bring dates into your daily life, you are, in a small way, living out that same pattern. You are choosing growth, choosing strength, choosing light. So the wisdom of dates is this: do not allow any influence to weaken your spirit. Feed your inner being with strength until you feel full of energy again. When your own sense of well-being is strong, no darkness can drain you. These feelings of being cursed dissolve not because they are magically driven away, but because they simply can't hold on to someone who is full of vitality. The truth is simple: a sense of weakness invites difficulty, but a sense of strength helps it to pass by. Dates remind us that spiritual strength isn't something to think about once in a while, it is a form of daily nourishment. The question is, will you walk into the desert of life feeling empty, or will you carry within you the fruit that helps you feel strong and untouchable? The choice is yours. Salt is one of the simplest things we know, yet its impact on our history is immense. Entire cultures grew and prospered because of it. Battles were fought for it, and pathways were built to trade it. It's not an exaggeration to say that without salt, our world wouldn't look the same. But beyond just preserving food or helping our bodies, salt has always had a deeper meaning. It's the quiet element that stops decay, the silent purifier, the thing that refuses to let things spoil. This is why, in so many cultures, it has been used to represent the clearing of heavy feelings, the turning away of ill will, and the dissolving of unseen things that try to cling to us. What's so interesting about salt is its dual nature. On one hand, you can't see it once it dissolves. It disappears into water or food. But on the other hand, you can't deny its effect. A tiny bit too much or too little, and everything changes. This quiet but powerful influence is a lot like how our own inner protection works. You don't need loud rituals to find your peace. Sometimes, it's the smallest, most consistent practices that do the most good. The salt in our daily food, a pinch of salt to clean a space. These things can clear away negativity before it has a chance to settle. Salt teaches us that real power doesn't always need to be seen. It just needs to work. If we look at this from our own experience, salt represents the idea of boundaries. In the way that it protects food by stopping harmful things from growing, it can also represent protecting our own inner peace by not letting in destructive influences. When you consciously take salt into your life each day, you can see it as a symbolic act of strengthening your own sense of self. You are reminding yourself, I will not let confusion grow inside me. I will not allow hidden troubles, emotional, mental, or spiritual, to stay here unchecked. Salt becomes the quiet inner line that imbalance cannot cross. This is so important when we think about those heavy feelings we sometimes carry, the so-called curses. A heavy feeling is, at its core, an intrusion. It tries to get into your system, to disrupt your balance and wear you down. Salt, whether you see it literally or as a symbol, interrupts that process. Its sharp, clarifying quality dissolves what doesn't belong and brings things back to balance. That is why salt was sprinkled in homes or carried for a sense of protection. It doesn't shout or make a big show, but it works with a quiet confidence. If garlic was a shield and the onion a gentle absorber, then salt is the clarifier, the element that doesn't just push heaviness away, but dismantles it. This gives it a unique place. It doesn't just protect your inner space, it helps neutralize what is unsettling it. And maybe the most important lesson is that it does this quietly. Salt teaches us that true strength often works in silence. Just as you might not notice the salt in your meal, you may not always notice the subtle ways your own resilience protects you every single day. But without it, things would quickly fall out of balance. There is also a lesson here about purity. Salt comes from the sea, from the earth, from places that connect us to nature's very essence. To bring salt into your life is to bring a reminder of that foundational simplicity. And this simplicity is not weak. It is clear and unyielding. When life feels confusing, when heavy, negative thoughts seem to wrap around you, a return to what is simple and pure is often the answer. Salt represents that return. It is a call back to clarity, to a state where confusion has no place to stand. So when you eat salt daily, don't just take it for granted. See it as more than just a seasoning. See it as an act of strengthening, a reminder that your spirit can be kept clear of all kinds of confusion, a reminder that you carry within you the power to bring things back to balance before they overwhelm you. The reflection is this: sometimes the most ordinary things hold the most extraordinary power. Salt may be silent, but it clarifies what seeks to confuse you. The question is, will you overlook its quiet strength, or will you welcome it as part of your daily practice of clarity? The choice, as always, is yours. Lemon is often connected with freshness, with clarity, with a feeling of starting new. Its taste is sharp, its scent is uplifting, and its effect is something you can't miss. You cut a lemon open, and the entire feeling in the room changes. You can't hide its presence. It makes itself known. And this is exactly why for centuries, people saw it not just as food, but as a purifier. Something that cleanses both the body and the spirit. Where garlic helps us feel grounded, the onion helps us uncover, honey brings warmth, dates give strength, and salt preserves, the lemon cuts through. It slices directly through the fog of negativity. It dissolves it right where it starts, leaving nothing behind but a feeling of lightness. Think about how heavy feelings or dark moods work. They thrive in the gray areas. They cloud your thinking. They weigh down your heart. They create confusion. A person feeling this way often feels dull, lost, unable to see things clearly. Lemon, both in its taste and in what it represents, is the complete opposite. It brings sharpness, brightness, and clarity. To have lemon daily is like moving a ray of sunlight through your inner world, cutting away the fog, dissolving the haze, and bringing back your perspective. There's something very real and psychological about this. Many of us live with invisible weights, not old-fashioned spells, but the curses of lingering negativity, unhealthy attachments, or self-defeating habits. These things build up so slowly, we get used to them. We forget what it even feels like to be clear. Lemon shocks the system awake. Its sour taste demands your full attention. Its freshness wakes up your senses. This is why it's a fruit of purification. It refuses to let you stay numb or asleep. It brings you back into awareness, into the present moment, into a state where darkness can no longer hide in the corners. Another lesson from the lemon is that becoming clear isn't always comfortable. The taste is very sharp, sometimes almost too much, but that sharpness is its gift. You see, cleansing is rarely a gentle, easy process. When you finally face what has been weighing you down, when you release what has been poisoning your spirit, it often stings a little. Just like lemon stings a small cut on your finger, but keeps it clean, the process of inner purification might sting your pride, but it saves your soul. Eating lemon daily is not just for your body, it's a ritual of acceptance. It shows you're willing to go through a little discomfort in order to stay free and clear. Think about the color of a lemon. Bright yellow, radiant, tied to the light itself. This is no accident. Lemon carries the feeling of illumination. When heavy thoughts try to attach themselves to you, whether through envy or ill will, what they fear most is light. And lemon embodies that light. It brings light into the body, the mind, and the spirit. It's a reminder that clarity is always possible, that renewal is always within reach, and that darkness has no real power when faced with genuine light. On a deeper level, lemon also teaches us how important simplicity is. It's not a complicated fruit. It doesn't have many layers. It is straightforward, direct, and cuts to the point. Sometimes in life, that is exactly what we need. We try to solve our problems with complex plans, but often the solution is just to return to clarity, to simplicity, to cutting away everything that is not essential. Lemon embodies this wisdom. It asks you to stop tolerating what clouds your mind, to stop carrying burdens you don't need, and to come back to what truly matters. So when you bring lemon into your daily life, see it as more than just a refreshing taste. See it as light entering your system, cleansing what is hidden, cutting away the unnecessary, and restoring clarity. It is not an old superstition to say that difficult feelings and curses fade before the lemon. It's a recognition of a simple, universal truth: darkness cannot exist where there is light. And lemon, in its very essence, carries the light. The reflection is this: life will always show you shadows and gray areas, forces that try to cloud your vision. But clarity is not just given to you, it must be chosen. Lemon reminds us that purification is a daily act and that choosing light is a daily commitment. The question is, will you continue to live under the weight of what clouds you, or will you cut through it all with clarity and step fully into the light? The choice, as always, rests with you. Now is the moment to decide. If you commit to living a life of clarity, a life where these simple truths guide your every step, then take a moment for yourself. Make a promise not to a teacher or to a method, but to your own well-being. A simple, daily commitment to clarity is all it takes to begin. As a symbol of this commitment, and to continue this journey with us, subscribe to this channel. Let's walk this path together. And in the comments below, simply write this phrase to yourself and to the world: fast do I choose clarity in my daily life.